What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a true banger, a hoot and a holler of a video, if you will. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you do, and also a couple things I want to mention. First and foremost, please God follow me on Twitter. I want 15K more than anything, alright? Now that there's over 200,000 of you, it is unacceptable that I don't have at least 15K when I'm tweeting shit like this. And I quote, "Got head from Joe Biden. Call that a sloppy Joe." If that's not the best tweet you've seen this week, then don't follow me. I don't care. But I'm expecting at least 15K by the end of the night. Or else there's going to be consequences. All right? So follow me on Twitter. Links in the description. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. So this is kind of an interesting story. This is about the time that I took some triangle-shaped Xanax. And this is kind of a two-part story. So I don't really know how long this video is going to end up being. But either way, a few years ago, about 3 years ago now, a little under that, I'd say, I used to work as a salesman for a bathtub and a bathroom remodeling company. For those of you guys who have been around this channel since 2017, some of you guys might remember me touching on that a lot more in the past, more so than I have really recently, right? But back in the day, I worked pretty hard at this job, and I put in a lot of hours. And occasionally I would get sent to work events and different home shows and stuff where I'd have a partner with me, right? And it was always like a rotation of people. You would never know who you were going to be working with or if you were going to be working with anyone until you got there, typically. So it was one of those kinds of things, like, I would just drive to these different home shows and, like, even, like, fucking malls, dude. I would go anywhere, bro. I would stand anywhere and try to convince someone to remodel their bathroom and use our shitty acrylic materials. But either way, nevertheless, we're kind of, we're switching off partners a lot, right? And on this particular day, I pull up to a carnival. One of the shittiest, seediest, like, sales gigs I'd done. There was one worse one. There was one where I went to a flea market, and that one was pretty bad. But there was one where they sent me to a carnival, and it was just the funniest thing ever, because at this company, right, they have these little, like, display cases where it's literally a bathtub in a, like it's a bathtub on wheels in, like, a little display case with lights in it. Like, they just wheel it off a truck at like carnivals and shit, and just make you peddle it to everybody passing by, right? You offer like free appointments, whatever the fuck you gotta do. You just sell the product, right? But there was actually some decent money in it, and I was pretty good at it. So I actually made pretty decent money doing this, right? And there was one guy who I was partners with quite a bit, who we're going to call Trevor. And Trevor was like one of the first guys who trained me. And we'd become kind of good friends. He was one of the few coworkers whose number I had. And I knew that he smoked and he did his fair share of partying. And on this particular day, I walk up to the carnival. I walk up to our display, and Trevor's there. And as soon as Trevor's there, I'm like, oh, okay. It's going to be a pretty chill day. So I throw my water bottle down. I kind of dap him up. I'm like, hey, what's good, man? We're chatting a little bit. Because having the luxury of having a partner with you on these shifts is a rare one. It's not common. Typically, I'd say I was working like 5 days a week at my, at my peak, like 8-hour shifts every day when I was really grinding at this place. And there was probably, I'd say, 3 to 4 days a week where I'd be working alone, and it would get really boring really quick. Like, not even a supervisor. Like, you are literally unsupervised alone. So it was good and bad. But the days where you had a good partner, you had to really cherish it. So either way, I pull up, I dap up Trevor. I'm like, what's good, man? We're chatting a little bit. He's like, we kind of get through our shift. We're doing our sales. It's kind of slow. He'd been there for like a couple hours before me. How they would do it is they would typically have people's shifts overlap. So like, he showed up at like 9 in the morning, and then I showed up at like 11:30, and then he just leaves like 2 hours before me, and I would do closing, But we're chilling. Our shifts are overlapping, so we're chatting a little bit. And, he's got a little cart with him. So he's like, yo, you want to hit this? And I'm like, yeah, of course. So he passes me the cart. I hit it. We're chatting. And we get into our drug talk. We would do a lot of back and forth about drugs and substances. And he's like, oh, dude, I got some bars, bro. Like, you might want some of these, actually. I've got a few in my car. Like, would you want to buy any? And Trevor was a guy who, like, I had his number. We texted. I knew him, but I wouldn't say I trusted his drugs all the way. So I was a little hesitant, but I was like, oh, well, I definitely want to see him. And he's like, yeah, dude, let's just go to my car in a minute when it dies down, right? And, you know, like I said, we were really always unsupervised at this job, even when we had a partner. So, like, we dictated when we took a break whenever we pleased. And it was nice because at these outdoor events, we could just smoke, like, right behind the booth, and there's nobody to tell us not to. Like, it was just at our discretion. So either way, the foot traffic kind of dies down a little bit. Me and Trevor go back to his car, right? We're sitting in his car, and he pops open his glove box, and he pulls out this bag. And he's got these little green fuckers, but they're not Hulks. They are triangles. I've never seen something like this in my entire life. This is the only time I've ever seen something like this. I was super fucking hesitant, right? I looked at these and I was like, dude, what the fuck? And I said that out loud. I was like, dude, what in the fuck are these? He's like, dude, I know what you're thinking. Like, they literally looked like they were X, dude. They looked like they were rolls, dude. They looked like some flats. It was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what are these, dude? And he's like, rest assured. And, you know, he's like, don't worry, dude. I promise it's Xans. They're legit. They're from a buddy of mine who presses them himself, like, with his own powder. But, like, they're legit. And I was very hesitant. I was very skeptical at this point. I'm like, damn, dude. I don't really know how I feel about this. He's like, dude, they're 3 milligrams of pop. They're super strong. You're only going to need one. They're going to have you chilling, right? So I'm a little torn about it. I'm like, okay, maybe not. Let's see how this goes. And I'm thinking about it. And finally, I'm like, all right, deal, dude. You know what? I'll buy 2 of them. He had maybe like 3 or 4 of them in his car. I bought 2 of them, right? He's like, just pop 1, dude. Like, if you're going to take it right now, pop 1. If you're not going to take it now, still just pop 1, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. So we go back to our little display. We go back to our stand. Work through the rest of our shift. I don't end up taking it this day, right? I just have these weird triangle fuckers. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? So, I don't really know what to think of them. So I go home. I kind of forget I even have them, right? Like, the shift ends. I go home, do my thing. Maybe like a week goes by, right? And we have a training meeting for work, right? It's a mandatory thing where we all have to show up at the office and I wouldn't say the office, but like our main location and watch like a sales training video from corporate or some shit. Like, just some ridiculous bullshit, right? So it's like, from what our manager told us, it was going to be a minimum 2-hour thing. It was longer than that. I don't remember exactly how long it was, but it had to be 3, dude. There's no way it was any less than 3 hours. So either way, this day rolls around, right? And it actually worked out kind of perfectly. On this particular day, right, my mom's car was getting worked on, so my mom took my car to work, right? So she was offering, she was like, oh, can I take your car to work, and then I'll buy you an Uber to your work thing, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that works, right? So she's going to buy me an Uber, all fine and dandy. I'm like, bet. I remember that I have these triangle bars, because I'm already chain smoking before this Uber's about to come get me for this training session, right? I'm chain smoking as, blunts, bong rips, whatever I can do to get fried as fuck, right? I'm like, oh shit, dude. Because I'm not going to have my car. Like, I can't like go smoke in my car or anything. Like, once I'm here, I'm committed. And I remember, I'm like, oh shit, I have those Xans, right? So I go grab the Xans. I don't remember where the fuck they were, but I had them. I went and I grabbed these Xans. And I'm still very skeptical, right? Like, I trusted the coworker, but I was a little skeptical. So I take it and I break it apart, right? You can't really break it in half because, like, it's a triangle, but I snap a corner off it, I guess is the best way to put it. And I taste it. And it is one of the strongest, most vile, just disgusting Xan tastes. Like it was so bitter and strong tasting of straight, how do you pronounce it? Alprazolam? I always feel like I'm saying it wrong, even if I'm not. Alprazolam, whatever the actual like scientific name of the chemical is that is in Xanax. It tastes so strongly of it. It's unbelievable. And after tasting it, I felt a little more comfortable taking it, right? So I was like, all right, let's slam this whole thing down the hatch. Because dude claimed it was 3 milligrams. I didn't believe that. I didn't even believe it was a real Xan. But after tasting it, I was starting to second guess myself. I was like, okay, this could be pretty lit. So this Uber pulls up. I pop this Xan. I get to training, right? It's like a 20-minute Uber. Not the worst thing in the world. Chatting with the Uber driver. All's going well. I get dropped off, right? I walk in, and of course they make us wear our stupid fucking t-shirts, and they make us tuck it in like some bullshit as if we're actually out doing sales, and they make us wear our fucking name tags even though it's a training session. It's ridiculous. Like, we're literally just sitting there watching a video that was sent from corporate, and for some reason it was like a series of videos that were so long, and it didn't, like, they were like retraining us on things, I guess, which didn't really make sense because there was like a lot of us at this point I'd been working this job for a little while. I knew what I was doing. Like, I'd had weeks where I was like top 3 salespeople in the whole like district, right? So like I knew what the fuck I was doing. I knew how to sell a goddamn bathroom remodel, right? But or not in the district, but like in my like location, right? Out of my store, right? But what's it called? Either way. So we're sitting there watching this training video. And I'm chilling, and I completely, like, disregard the fact that I took the Xan. I'm not expecting to get super barred out. I see Trevor there. I sit next to Trevor. We're chatting it up. He's like, hey, dude, how you doing? I'm like, good. You know, we're talking a little bit. He's like, so, like, how long you think this shit's going to be? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not really that worried, though. I popped that Xan. He's like, you popped that? Like, before you came here? I'm like, yeah, dude. So we're chatting a little bit, and we got there pretty early, right? And he's like, oh, shit, dude. You're about to be big chilling. Like, are you good? And me and Trevor hadn't really, like, hung out a ton, so he didn't really understand that I can handle my substances. I can tolerate my drugs, right? Like, I knew what I was doing. If I was mentally aware that I was taking 3 milligrams of Xanax, I knew what to do to handle that 3 milligrams, right? So I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. So we're chilling, and in walks this female coworker of mine. We're going to call her Anna. I know, it's not Ashley, dude. For the first time ever, I used a name that isn't Ashley. Can we honestly get a round of applause? That's fucking sick, everybody. We used a name that wasn't Ashley. But either way, Anna walks in. For those guys who are real OGs on this channel, I think I might have mentioned this girl before. She was the coworker who I gave her a ride home on, like, orientation day. I think I like made a video that involved this girl at one point. But either way, so she comes in, she sits next to me. She's like, oh, hey, what's up? I'm like, hey. And at this point, I'm still sober. We're all chatting, me, Trevor, and Anna. We're kind of just sitting next to each other, waiting for everyone to file in, you know, waiting for Boss Man to pull up, start the video, which eventually occurs maybe 2-3 minutes later, right? So Boss Man walks in. We're all kind of talking to the manager. He's like, how's your guys' days going? You know, sorry to bring you guys in. And there was a good amount of us who weren't there too. Cause this was still a work day. Like there was no day that we weren't like out selling. We had events every day. So like I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, this took place on like a Friday or a Saturday or something. But there was still a decent chunk of people who were out doing events. In fact, weekends were more busy than weekdays for us. But either way, so we're in there and we're watching these videos, and like we're kind of, you know, we're taking it seriously. We're not really dicking around. Me, Trevor, and Anna, we're just watching it. And I'd say maybe 45 minutes in, I just get absolutely floored out of my fucking mind. Like, this was not your typical Xan. This felt stronger than a script Xan. This was honestly, I would say, one of the strongest, best, most potent Xans I'd ever taken. I've never felt this zombified, straight, mouth-breathing, drooling idiot mode off of one pill of anything, really ever, I don't think. Like, holy fuck. These shits were crazy. I remember sitting there and we're watching this training video, and our manager is kind of like talking along with the video, right? And I remember like we're kind of all like, it's like an open discussion kind of thing about the video. And I just remember like hearing this discussion just go slow-mo. and just feeling my whole body go like, just feel like it's just got bricks around every one of my limbs. Just a bag of bricks is tied to all my limbs. And I kind of chill and I lean back in my chair and I'm just like, oh my God. And I remember I lean over to Trevor a little bit and I'm like, dude, these shits are fire. And he like looks over at me and he just starts dying. He just starts laughing. He can't believe it. And I couldn't believe it either, because never in my life have I encountered a drug scenario. Like, listen, on paper, Xans are already something to be very skeptical of in general, street Xans, right? But when some motherfucker comes up to you and says, hey, dude, you should try out my 3 milligram triangle Xans, that is a giant cause for alarm. The biggest red flag, a red flag larger than China's red flag, okay? Their flag's literally red, and it's huge. This is a way bigger, okay? Like, the problem on our hands here with this is concerning, all right? But it turned out to not be a concern at all. Like, it turned out to actually be some of the cleanest, strongest Xan I'd ever done. So the Xan hits me, and I'm just fucking gone, dude. I'm absolutely blasted out of my mind. And I remember talking to Anna a little bit. I'm sitting in the middle of these two, right? Trevor's to my left, Anna's to my right. I'm talking to them both. And I remember, I'm pretty sure I was getting dirty looks from the manager, because I remember Trevor kept like smacking me on the shoulder and being like, yo, shh, like, not right now, bro. Like, I'm just being an absolute fucking idiot. I don't really know how, like, nobody said anything or nobody cared, because I was, as far as I knew and could tell through my hours, I was a pretty well-liked employee at this place for a long time after this, too. I didn't work there super long. I think I was there for, like, maybe like 5 months, 6 months, but I did pretty good numbers while I was there. But nevertheless, either way, we're doing this training video, and I'm so fucking gone. And I remember we finished the video, and I think we're done. I remember this part so vividly. This was embarrassing. I think we're done because the video's done. And I'm just like, I don't know what dimension I was in, but I was not listening. Like, audio was not processing. So I saw the video turn off, right? And I saw the lights turn back on. And I had just assumed that meant go the fuck home. So I get up, right? Mind you, I hadn't called an Uber. I forgot entirely about how I was getting home. I was ready to just go walk out the door and take a stroll all the way home, which was like 10 miles away. It was quite a distance. Not quite, maybe like 8, but still, would have taken me all fucking day. So either way, nevertheless, right? I get up. And I remember this part so vividly. My manager goes, you go into the bathroom, Nick? And I turn around and I look at him. And I like, as soon as I turn around, I process like, oh, I'm the only one who stood up. Like, nobody else got up. And I look over and I see Trevor crying, bro. Trevor is dying. This guy is fucking losing it. He's doing his best to silent laugh. Anna's giggling at it even. And the only thing I can say at this point is just, yeah. So I'm just like, yeah. I couldn't fucking hold it, dude. Yes, sir. I gotta go take a tinkle, Your Honor. I'll be right back. That's literally the only thing I could think of is just say yes. Like, what the fuck else am I gonna say? So that's exactly what I did. And it worked. He was just like, oh, like, you could ask next time. And fuck that. I'm going to the goddamn bathroom, right? So I go in the bathroom and I'm chilling in there and I'm just trying to like collect myself, because at this point, like, I don't feel physically embarrassed, but I had that like mental realization of like, oh wow, I'm Xanned the fuck out in front of literally all of my coworkers. Like the entire workforce of my company is watching me just tweak the fuck out off Xans at a training session. Like, damn, and I cared about this job. This was a job that I couldn't afford to lose, right? So I was like, oh, shit. So I kind of collect myself, I chill in the bathroom, splash a little water on my face. I get back out there. I sit down. And luckily, by the time I get back out there, everything pretty much is done. It was just like a small, kind of like conclusion discussion that they were having at the end that I missed a decent little chunk of because I was in the bathroom. So everyone kind of stands up, gathers their shit. And I realize that I have to get a ride home. Oh, shit. Pardon me. So I'm like, oh, shit. And I remember the first thing I instinctively did is I just asked Anna, I'm like, yo, you should totally return that favor on the ride. And it had been a minute. So at first she like didn't remember what I was even talking about. And I was like, you remember when I drove you home on like orientation? Because we got hired the same day. And she was like, oh yeah. She was like, how the fuck did you get here? And I was like, Uber. And she was like, oh yeah, I'll drive you home. So nice of her. Anna drives me home. I go dap up with Trevor in the parking lot after that. I'm like, holy shit, dude. These Xans are great. You got to tell me if you got any more of these. I remember going home and like popping the other one as I was coming down off the first one and just passing the fuck out, dude. I never touched these triangle Xans again. But oh my good fucking googly moogly, holy shit. These fucking Xans were ridiculous. They literally had me, dude. It felt like I genuinely felt like the Quaalude scene in Wolf of Wall Street. Like it was fucked, dude. It was absolutely fucked. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys next time. Peace.